This is macOS Ken.
Wedbush is excited over Apple and sports, an update for a computer that nobody has yet, and Mr. Saturday Night's making his way to Apple TV+. It is Friday, the 17th of June, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimplySafe, the right way to protect your home. SimplySafe is advanced whole home security that puts you, your home, and your family's safety first. I like the fact that they let you build your own system, getting exactly what you need for your home. Maybe you're good on smoke detectors but need door sensors, flood sensors, or cameras. The point is, what you need for your home may be different from what other people need. So get the components that are right for you to make your home as safe as can be. Monitoring plans are affordably priced at just $1 a day with no long-term contract or hidden fees, and setting it up could not be simpler. I had my SimplySafe system up and running in well under an hour. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Go to simplysafe.com/macOSKen. Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives is seriously stoked over Apple's deal with Major League Soccer. Earlier this week, the two organizations announced a deal that'll make the Apple TV app the home for Major League Soccer for 10 seasons from 2023 through 2032. And Mr. Ives thinks we are just in early innings as far as Apple sports plans go. A Yahoo Finance piece via AOL, which I seriously did not know was still a thing. Anyway, a Yahoo Finance piece has the Wedbush analyst saying they're doubling down on live sports content, and that's a big strategy for Cupertino on the content front. Major League Baseball, now Major League Soccer. That's just the start of what we see as much more aggressive content initiatives, with the NFL Sunday Ticket being front and center. Ives seems to see Amazon in Apple's crosshairs. The report says the Prime Video proprietor will start streaming Thursday Night Football this fall. On top of paying hundreds of millions to broadcasters, the company is shelling out $1 billion per season for the exclusive rights. But NFL Sunday Ticket is the big ticket, and Ives thinks Apple will go for it. According to the analyst, there's been a clear DNA change within Apple the last 18 months about live sports content. They recognize they have to be aggressive because of what Amazon has done with Thursday Night Football. With live sports, the analyst says, there's a huge window for them to expand. TipRanks lists Ives' rating on Apple shares a buy. His price target on the shares is $200. By the time you get this, there's a good chance that the M2-powered 13-inch MacBook Pro will be available to order. While folks won't be able to handle the machine until a week from now, the operating system for the laptop is already out. No, I don't mean macOS Monterey, though in fairness that is out. I'm talking about the version of Monterey that Apple released Thursday with next week's machine in mind. Mac Rumors says Apple on Thursday released a new build of macOS Monterey 12.4 that's designed for the upcoming M2 Macs. No point in looking for it yourself since it is for M2-powered machines, and since nobody has those, it will not show up as an update for you. So what's it doing out? Well, my guess is people actually do have the machine. Hands-on reviews will likely be posted midweek next week ahead of next Friday's release. You don't want them reviewing on janky software. Or maybe the whole software team just finished early. Orders started today at 5 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern for the 13-inch MacBook Pro powered by M2. The new machines will begin arriving to customers and will be in select Apple Store locations and Apple-authorized resellers on Friday, the 24th of June, according to Apple. Speaking of software updates, it looks like iOS 16 will let users nix 3 more of Apple's pre-installed apps. It was back in 2016 with the arrival of iOS 10 that Apple started letting people pluck apps it had installed off their iPhones and iPads. The number that could be removed then was 24. The number has barely budged in the ensuing years, currently standing at 27, though a piece from iDownload blog says it's about to rise to 30. According to the report, if your iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch is powered by iOS 16, iPadOS 16, or watchOS 9, you'll be able to uninstall these 3 stock apps that you couldn't before: Clock, Find My, and Fitness. Now, if you'd heard something about being able to remove the camera app as well, yeah, you can go ahead and scratch that. Despite some confusion, iDownload blog says users will be able to remove the camera app from the home screen, but not pull it off the phone. Now, just because you can pull stock apps off the devices doesn't mean you should. Things might get weird in a couple of ways. For example, removing the Contacts app doesn't actually remove your contacts. According to Apple, according to iDownload blog, all of your contact information will remain in the phone app because other apps like Messages, Mail, FaceTime, and more may use it. Going weird in a different way, the piece says because some apps provide services to other parts of iOS, uninstalling them may result in a loss of functionality. But you do you. If you're wondering which pre-installed Apple apps you'll be able to give the old heave-ho, I'll have a list in this story on macOSken.com. More news in a moment, but first a word from BetterHelp, sponsor of today's show. I think a lot of times we can choose to be happy. I also think a lot of times we don't know how. I think often we get stuck in our thinking, and I think a lot of times figuring out how to get unstuck can be difficult. If you could use some help with that, consider BetterHelp. No, I want to stress that help part. A counselor can't make everything better. Rather, BetterHelp counselors help you deal with whatever's stressing you out, troubling you, or maybe burning you out. While BetterHelp does work hard to find the right counselor for you, if you and your counselor don't gel, you can change. I have had that happen once with BetterHelp. Changing was easy. No questions asked, and no added cost. If you are ready to try to make things better, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Listeners to this show get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/macOSken. That's betterhelp.com/macOSken. betterhelp.com/macOSken. Say hello to the thing that would not die. A piece from Engadget says Apple is being sued over Batterygate. Roughly 5 years ago, Apple copped to intentionally slowing the performance of some of its older phones. Apple said it did that to keep units with failing batteries from going crashy-crashelson. Detractors argued the real reason Apple did it was to trick people into upgrading to newer devices. Now, seriously, 5 years later, Consumer rights campaigner Justin Gutman has brought suit against Apple at the Competition Appeals Tribunal in the United Kingdom. Citing a report from The Guardian, Engadget says Gutman argued that Apple didn't disclose that it was going to deliberately throttle users' phone before it did so, and that the company didn't give them the option to disable the setting. The piece has Gutman arguing that Apple introduced the slowdown feature to disguise the fact that older batteries could no longer cope with the new OS updates. Quoting the campaigner, instead of doing the honorable and legal thing by their customers and offering a free battery replacement, repair service, or compensation, Apple instead misled people by concealing a tool in software updates that slowed their devices by up to 58%. He's not suing on behalf of people who replaced their phones or people who paid full price to replace their batteries. Rather, the piece has him suing on behalf of anyone in the UK who purchased an affected iPhone. That's anyone in the country who bought an iPhone 6 through iPhone 10. If it loses, Apple could end up paying as much as £750 million to over 25 million people, according to the report. A case against Apple over gift card scams has been given a go-ahead in court. You probably heard about these scams. Somebody calls a victim claiming to be from the IRS or some other official entity. They say there's a problem with the victim's account, something wrong with their taxes, they're behind in utility bills, and the power is about to be cut. Law enforcement is on the way to arrest them for some reason. They freak the mark out, then tell them they can fix it by buying Apple gift cards, either store cards or iTunes gift cards, and giving the caller the information on the card. The bad guys then use the cards, either buying goods at Apple stores that they can turn around and resell, or buying apps on the App Store in which they have an interest, collecting 70% of the cost of the app once Apple pays out. The victims, of course, are left victimized, out however much money for which they were taken. Did Apple do this? No, it did not. But a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says plaintiffs in the case argue that Apple benefits from the scams and could do more to protect the victims. The report says Apple filed to have the case dismissed for a number of reasons, starting with the fact that cards sold clearly say no refunds. That did not wash with the judge hearing the case. According to the report, U.S. District Judge Edward Davila dismissed some of the claims from a class of plaintiffs that said Apple aided in the fraudulent schemes, but he did say plaintiffs plausibly alleged the company did receive some of the proceeds from the fraud and failed to appropriately reimburse the victims. The next stage in the case will be discovery, according to the report, where Apple will be required to hand over relevant information about how it handles such scams. No word in the piece on a timeline for the case. Let's wrap the day with a little news around Apple TV+. A well-received Apple series is getting a second round. Apple TV Plus issued a press release Thursday saying that the series Swagger has been picked up for a second season. According to the release, Swagger explores the world of elite youth basketball clubs, the players, their families and coaches, and the game within the game. Off the court, the piece says, the show reveals what it's like to grow up in America. The series is inspired by the NBA's Kevin Durant and his experiences in the world of youth basketball. Swagger creator, showrunner, and director Reggie Rock Bythewood is quoted in the release saying, "I'm excited to share more of the beautifully complicated lives of these incredible characters. In Season 2, they will search and discover what it means to be a champion on and off the court, and the basketball playing will continue to be groundbreaking. We are grateful to Apple TV Plus for the platform." Season 1 of Swagger is available to stream now on Apple TV Plus. No word on when Season 2 will hit the stream. And finally today, Apple TV Plus is getting a couple of blasts from the past. Deadline has word of a limited series coming to the Cupertino streamer. The piece says the series Before focuses on a child psychiatrist who recently lost his wife and his dealings with a troubled young boy. Where are the blasts from the past? in front of and behind the camera. Barry Levinson is set to direct. His work ranges from last year's miniseries Dopesick to the film Bandits in the early 2000s to Bugsy in the early 90s, all the way back to Diner in 1982. Serving as executive producer and starring in the series, Billy Crystal. I don't really need to say who Billy Crystal is, do I? City Slickers, Analyze This, When Harry Met Sally. You know he's only done 2 series? The Comedians for FX in 2015, and Soap way back in the 1970s. No clue as to when the series will land on our TVs. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by SimplySafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOScan. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOScan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.